People all have speculation about that vaccine thing. I saw a bunch of comments and like, oh yeah, it's the vax or whatever.
We unfortunately don't have any details or information on how he passed or what happened really. All you can do is like speculate, and that's not really a good place to hang out or live. But we do know there are some dangers to bodybuilding on any level, whether you're doing it drug-free or otherwise. It's obviously going to be more dangerous if there's drug abuse in there. But anytime anybody like this passes, people are always going to think steroids right away. It's just like, I don't know how good that does us. It would be great if we could know more, so that way we could have other people, avoid it. But I don't think he wasn't married. He doesn't have children, and I don't know if we're gonna like learn much more. He did make a post, and he did talk about how he got vaccinated, and I don't think he was kind of halfway joking around. I don't know. He just kind of said, if I die from, if I die, it's because of the vaccine, because I'm pretty healthy. But I don't know how much he traced his blood work or what other indicators of health. Or he's like, when we saw him, he seemed healthy. He looks great. But life is finicky, and this body of ours is a giant supercomputer, and sometimes the lights just go out and they don't come back, and we're not always sure why. People randomly die all the time, and when people die in bodybuilding, it just brings up more speculative stuff. It's hard to tell.
People all have speculation about that vaccine thing. I saw a bunch of comments and like, oh yeah, it's the vax or whatever. That shit's it's number one, it's too hard to know, and just like chill with that shit. Like, the guy just fucking passed. Right. You'll have your speculation on what it is, but don't go saying some fucking dumbass shit like that.
Don't be a dickhead and use this man's death as your fucking argument.
Don't.
For or against whatever the hell. Like, this is my friend. Like, shut the fuck up. But yeah, dude. So he was I called him a stubborn boomer. Again, he's about my dad's age, so I know like the class of people he is. Like, not class, but like the I guess age group. And so like that post that he made, right? He was just like,
you want to just find it?
I can find it, yeah.
Yeah,
Let me see if I can find it. Like, but that's just like who he was. He was kind of like a hard ass. Like, I was helping him with some social media stuff, and I sent him like a video about like just certain like just general like posting things, and he was like, that was a waste of my time. And I thought it was so funny because I'm like, dude, I'm helping you out, like, just give me a chance.
Yeah.
But like, it's not that he like was super stubborn, because when he needed help, he reached out. Like, he wasn't like too egotistical to just like, oh, somebody else will figure it out. Like, he wanted to do it himself. But again, like, I'll find this post, he was fiery as fuck. Like, yes. He believed in himself so much that he was talking about like, I can't wait. I'm going to find one of these naysayers when they compete. I'm going to go to their competition, jump on stage, and blow them out of the water. And he was so serious too. I loved it because he was so passionate about it. And like I said, he was so confident in what he was able to do. And then we have the images to show that, like, dude, he got shredded and he looked amazing.
I think he was like trying to make a documentary or something too, right?
Yeah. They made it, it's called, something Game Change, Bodybuilding Game Change or something like that. And it was cool. It's available on YouTube. It's on Smart Training 365's YouTube channel. And it's pretty cool because it gives like a cool little backstory of like where he came from and stuff. And then, kind of discovering the Brig 20. But let me see if I can find this post. I know it's kind of like all over the place right now.
Power Project family, how's it going? Now, on this podcast, we talk all about recovery, which is why 8 Sleep are the beds that we sleep on. Now, 8 Sleep is the Tesla of beds. Not only does it track your heart rate, your HRV, your tosses and turns, it also tracks how long you've been in each sleep cycle, and the mattress does something amazing. It changes its temperature through the night to make sure that in each sleep cycle, you're getting the optimum sleep for you. Now, I know you guys are interested in checking them out, so head to 8sleep.com/powerproject, and you'll automatically be able to save $150 off of your Pod Pro cover or your Pod Pro cover and mattress combo. Check them out Enjoy the video.
Yeah, I mean, I what I took from him was kind of the simple idea of like just questioning strength a lot more.
Yes.
And also questioning, like the overarching question for me is what I'm doing really going to improve what I want it to improve? And I don't like overly look at that because I don't want to just have like analysis paralysis. So I will still just go and do stuff. Like I'm still doing a lot of push-ups. I still like doing some of my bench pressing. There's a lot of movements I still enjoy and still like. And so they're just there. They're a staple. I like doing the belt squat. I like pushing the sled. I like doing farmer's carries. There's certain things that are just, they're staples and they'll be there until I can figure out a reason on why to get rid of them, but they're in for now. And so I think it's important to try to figure out, though, have some conjecture towards some of the stuff that you're doing and try to figure out what is the utility of this. And sometimes, I mean, it doesn't have to be any more complicated than sometimes you just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like if I don't bench press, I just feel like it's a disservice to my strength. Like I have strength that I can exhibit in a bench press. And that's a nice exercise for me to do. It's a good overall, good upper body movement to employ. So why not just utilize it? That kind of stuff.
Yeah. And I keep telling myself, like, it doesn't matter, but like, I still want to know exactly what happened, like how it happened.
Right.
I know it's not going to make me feel better, like, but I still want to know, like, did he get the boosters or whatever? Like, it doesn't really matter to me. It doesn't matter that that he got this this thing about like a year and a half ago. Like, I just want to know what happened. Like, it sucks because I know it's not going to help, but I would like to know.
Yeah, I'm just going to assume, and that's not always great to do. I'm going to assume he died of a heart attack. That's how most people just go. And what can happen, and I'm not saying this is the case with him, but what can happen in a lot of cases, especially with people that bodybuild, I believe he was using some HRT. What can happen in some people's cases is the blood can get thicker. And when the blood's thicker, especially if you're competing for a bodybuilding show, if you're trying to get leaner, that blood thickness can kind of, and if you have kind of like high blood pressure or you're trying to take something to get leaner for the show, sometimes those two things meet up and they lead to something bad. That's what happened to Charles Poliquin. Not even that caused his death, but it caused a heart attack years ago. I believe he took like clenbuterol or something like that, and his blood was thick. And there's a guy who knows so much about, blood work and all kinds of stuff. So in some cases, that's what happens with some bodybuilders, and that's been the speculation around a lot of the other guys' deaths is just like blood, your blood pressure and the thickness of the blood.
Yeah, and I mean, he was like just a few short weeks away from, I think it was just guest posing. I thought he was competing, but maybe it was just a guest pose. And hopefully this is okay, but like he has no reason to be completely honest with me, because like we weren't like living together, we weren't that close, but he also wouldn't have any reason for like to lie to me either, or to keep things from me.
What are you talking about?
What he was taking. So what he told me he was taking, he was just on 200 milligrams of testosterone a week, prescribed. Like it wasn't like, I'm going to do this. He wasn't on, as far as I know, again, maybe something changed weeks getting closer to the event. But he wasn't even on like T3 or anything, like a low dose of, I know I just said only, but like, doctor prescribed T3 stuff is like 0.0 micrograms
is T3 something, it's not testosterone?
It speeds up your thyroid. So that way you can burn fat, or just your everything just burns a little bit faster from what I understand.
Okay.
So again, kind of going back to using him as a billboard for whatever the fuck you're arguing, it's like, oh, it wasn't the vaccine, it was all these steroids. Obviously, he's on a bunch of steroids. Like, well, from what I know, talking to the man, he was not on all these steroids. Testosterone, sure, call it a steroid because it is, but it wasn't like he was abusing. And again, that's just me kind of getting a little bit too emotional about it when I see people, post stuff, and I'm just like, God, dude, like he's still a person. Like, quit using him.
Well, anyone who looks remotely jacked and is in their, 50s or 60s, if they pass, some people just die of natural causes. But if any of them pass, what the fitness side of the internet is going to do is they're going to scream steroids or they're going to scream vax. It's what people do. And it's pretty fucking shitty, but it's just the nature of the internet. And there's nothing we really do about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
But I mean, and then kind of going back to our conversations, you know, he was aware of blood work. Like, I mean, obviously he is aware, but like it was like in conversation, you know, because he was like, yeah, if you feel like you're not making like enough progress, then let's go ahead and get your labs done. And I'm like, oh, well, I do that quite often. But so it was, you know, it wasn't like, oh, if you're not getting the results you want, let's just hop on some shit. It was like, no, let's step one, blood work. So he was aware enough for me. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I know we kind of coach people better than we coach ourselves, but I would be shocked if he wasn't getting regular blood work. Like, just because there's no, like, he's too smart for that. But, you know.
Do you have that post there?
Yeah, I do. Sorry. I didn't know if it was going to really help, but I don't know. I can't read it. So if you can.
It's a little blurry.
Okay, so Doug said, I have enough confidence in the vaccine based on my research to get it done. Those of you who think the vaccine kills people can use me as a test. If I die, you were right. If I don't die and have no ill effects, you were wrong and should admit it, at least to yourselves. Better yet, you should admit that you were misled and tell the whole world who misled you so other people can benefit by avoiding those fear mongers. Now, real quick, if he mentioned his post, if he dies, you were right. Understand, again, like, you don't know. Just because someone says that does not mean that is what happened. So again, everyone can be free to have their conjecture or their speculation on, oh, see, this is what it does. But again, you don't know. So don't hold that as fact, even though this is something somebody said.
Right. And this doesn't necessarily mean that bodybuilding is dangerous, although it can be at times. Especially when taken to extremes, especially when you compete and you go really low fat and all these different things. But there's been thousands upon thousands of people that have been bodybuilding that have navigated it fairly successfully without having negative repercussions. So it's just hard. It's too hard to like pinpoint, you know, any one thing. I think the main thing, you know, whenever somebody passes, whether for me it's been a family member or a friend, I just always try to think, how do I take some of the qualities of this person and just have them live within me, and I can have that, share that out with other people and have good traits of that person kind of float around forever, good ideas that they had. And from Doug, I think it's, why not have some questions about these particular movements? Why not have some questions about the way weights have typically been moved around in the gym? And that's been like a mission I've been on for quite some time now, and it's something I'm going to continue to pursue because I still think there's so much more cool stuff to examine within strength training, conditioning, stretching, mobility. I don't think we're going to like find like the thing. I don't think we're going to be like, oh, this is it. Like we found it. But we're going to continue to find things that are better, things that will improve us faster and faster. If you kind of think about like technology, you can kind of look at it like technology, where technology used to kind of move real slow. And then all of a sudden technology is just built upon itself and just went,
Yeah.
And now things are moving super fast. And I think the same thing can happen for us with fitness, to where new ideas and concepts can keep coming in. The ones that aren't good don't stick around because they just don't work. And the ones that are helping us move forward, we'll keep those in, and we'll keep working and keep finding stuff that's better and better and better. And what if something like the Brig 20 could be something to help us get out of the obesity crisis that we're in now? Not only are people overly have excess body fat on them, but they also are under muscled. So can we get people to train? We need more ways to train so that people can be encouraged to train, because sometimes some of the lifting we were doing previously, cleans and snatches and deadlifts and squats and stuff like that, are just a little overkill for some of the general population. But maybe grabbing a low pulley and doing a sissy squat might be something that might entice someone to at least get started, might be a gateway movement to get people in the door of the gym.
I think that information thing that you're talking about, I think it is happening right now. I was just talking to Andrew about this before we got on air, because we are not close. Number one, we're not selling a program. We're not married to an idea as far as gaining muscle or gaining flexibility or moving better. We're not married to any type of ideas. We're just trying to bring forward information that can help people get better and improve in different ways. And we've been seeing the massive benefit of all these little habits that we've been bringing into our lifestyle these past few years. We've been seeing all the benefits, but everyone who's also starting to do different things from different podcasts that they learn things from are also gaining benefit, right? Because we are not married to specific ideas. So I think what we're currently seeing, at least in ourselves, is all of this stuff adding up, all of this different pieces of information. We take what's useful, we discard what's not for ourselves, and everyone in the audience is also taking what's useful for themselves and discarding what's not, and they're gaining benefit too. So I think like all of this stuff is stacking upon itself, and we're all getting benefit, right? And especially from the stuff that Doug showed, he's allowed and helped people lift without pain into their older years, and that's pretty fucking amazing. So yeah, we're all doing it.
We're exploring. Yeah, and a couple of the comments were like, "Oh, I didn't even know who this guy was. I had to look into it." And this is something actually, like Mark, you had said about yourself, but like this time last week, Doug Brignole was not as popular as he is right now. Unfortunately, it took him having to die and say some shit about a very controversial thing in order to get, literally at this point, like fucking nationwide attention, because if you go on Twitter, it's like, it's very popular right now.
Really?
Yeah.
That specific post?
It's like it combines his post with like a picture of himself looking super jacked. So like that's a huge bummer, and it's a shame that like that's what it took to, you know, get him on, I'll say, the big stage.
Yeah, even having said that though, maybe it will help. Maybe somebody will start to look into it, research more.
So the comments that I'm seeing is like, yeah, I'm having to look into this guy. So in my head, I'm just like, okay, obviously would rather him be here.
Yeah.
But what's going to happen is like people are going to dig deep, and they're going to be like, oh shit, he was really onto something. It's like, dude, that guy knew what the fuck he was talking about. It's like, okay, well, he's gone now. So what's going to happen is people are going to, like I said, right now they're searching it. They're going to find our podcast. They're going to find, you know, different platforms that he's been on and look deeper into his book and stuff. And then be like, dude, he was onto something. Years later, like I'll pass this down to my son. I'm like really looking forward to that. Maybe him and his friends might look back and be like, wait, who the fuck's Doug Brignole? And they'll search it. Be like, damn. So like, what I'm saying is, it's like, it sucks that he had to be gone in order for more people to really recognize like how smart and how like, when he came here, it was like, ditch the barbell. It's so against the grain. Like, well, maybe in a couple of years we might find out like, oh wait, maybe we were all against the grain and he was the only one going with the grain. You know, maybe he's going with the grain more than we were. That's that sort of feeling. I know that's going to take time, but it just sucks that it's going to happen after he's dead.
Hey, I know you guys enjoyed the video, so like, comment, subscribe, and head to the Power Project Discord below. Talk to y'all later.